On today's episode of Chat Chow, we're in Hollywood, California, speaking with Executive Chef Brock Kleweno at Yamashiro. Overlooking Hollywood for nearly a century, Yamashiro's modern Japanese cuisine has both adopted and redefined the LA food scene by melding cultures and tastes into new and amazing dishes. Well, Chef Brock, thanks so much for chatting with us today. Can you start with some of your background?
I'm from Washington State originally. I grew up on a family-owned and operated cattle ranch and wheat farm. I got a degree in business administration and computer science from University of Washington. I spent my first 10 professional years working in the computer science field. Oh, wow. And then I got bored. and I was living in the Midwest, and I was tired of the cold winters, and I moved to California because I liked the food scene out here, and I went to culinary school out here because I wanted to follow my passion of working as a chef in a restaurant. So that was about 10, 11 years ago. And my first job was a prep cook in Boa Steakhouse. It used to be Balboa Steakhouse, but now it's Boa. Oh. And from then I came to Yamashiro.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how you came to kind of appreciate Japanese cooking, and how are you adding your own touch to it?
I came to appreciate Japanese through Yamashiro, actually. I came here with a really good friend of mine who is a chef as well. He is an Asian chef, and he brought me as the sous chef up here. And he really taught me like the basics of Asian cookery and sushi. And then just from my tenure of being the chef here, I've had to research a lot and work on a lot of recipes and like with different ingredients and learn different products and all of that.
Right. So let's talk about the food a little bit more. What are some of the highlights in the menu?
Well, what we've really tried to do here is make the food very much LA and California driven with an Asian inspiration, not specifically Japanese. So we get our inspirations from all over. There's a little bit of Latino inspiration in there. A lot of Japanese, obviously. There'll be some other Asian influences, but really the mish-mash what LA is. So
can we take a look at some of your famous dishes here?
Sure. So the first one we're going to look at is what I call the charred albacore sashimi. Okay. So we're taking albacore and we're charring it on the grill, and then we're slicing it sashimi style. Okay. Then we're putting it on the plate with a little tomatillo and ponzu salsa, serrano chilies, and fried shallots. So this is what I was talking about, where we have like a traditional Japanese sashimi, but I'm putting some Latin influences on top of it. The next dish that we're going to show you is the Kurobuta Pork Carnitas. So one of my favorite things in the whole world is carnitas. I love it, I love it, I love it. So this is my version of it. I'm taking Kurobuta pork, which is Japanese pig, and I'm braising it in hoisin and star anise. And then we're pulling it like carnitas. And then I'm putting it on top of a scallion-risotto cake with a little Chinese honey mustard. Wow, so like every country kind of in there. Exactly, which is Yamashiro in and of itself. Yamashiro's been here for almost 100 years. It was one of the first structures in LA. So it really it really defines the Los Angeles scene, both culturally and food-wise. So this space is very like an iconic space and gorgeous views, and it wasn't always a restaurant. Can you tell us about some of the background of the building? Sure, as much as I know. It's about 100 years old. Wow. It was built by the Bernheimer brothers to house their antiques. They built it based on a replica of a structure in Kyoto, Japan, and they brought a lot of the pieces with them over from Japan. Okay. So in the interim, it's been a private club, it's been a school, it's been abandoned, and it's been Yamashiro, the restaurant. And you guys have some exciting guest chefs coming? We do. So this year, what I'm trying to kick, there's a lot of chefs around town that I'm very fond of, and I'm very enamored with their food and their skills as chefs. And I'm reaching out. I want to work with some of them in my kitchen, just A, for networking and camaraderie, to get to know these chefs better, B, to learn from them as well, and just to have fun to kind of branch out and work in other cuisines. So the first one we're going to do is with Jorge Rodriguez from Los Balcones del Peru. It's a Peruvian restaurant, beautiful food. They do my favorite ceviche in the city. Peruvian cuisine has a lot of Japanese influences. because there's a lot of Japanese immigrants in Peru that really kind of set out what that cuisine became.
Wow.
So it doesn't seem like it would go together at first brush, but really the cuisines, I think, will come together and work well. So we're going to do our first chef mashup dinner on Tuesday, March 12th.
And so, last question, you guys have a farmer's market that you host starting in April?
We do. We have a farmer's market kicking off April 4th. We have a whole new menu that I'm really excited about. We've got a bunch of new vendors I'm really excited about that are going to be up here. We have a lot of produce. We have some jewelry and clothing. We have a lot of fun food trucks. Last year we had a guy basically doing an oyster raw bar. That was really fun and exciting.
Wow. Right.
And then Yamashiro we have a tent in the middle of the market where we're selling beer and wine and food from the Yamashiro kitchen.
Well, we can't wait to check that out. So thanks so much for the interview. Cheers.
Cheers.